All right, let's dive in. Today, we're exploring two absolutely chilling true stories, and they both revolve around one terrifying idea: the consequences of trespassing where you are explicitly forbidden to go.
Just listen to this quote for a second. Sometimes it's not the wrong path, but the wrong time that takes a person to a place. That is a seriously ominous thought, isn't it? It perfectly sets the stage for what we're about to get into. Stories where one single decision leads to some truly devastating consequences.
So our first story takes us over to Pakistan, where we meet two teenage best friends, Sabi and Ali. Their day starts out completely normal, but trust me, it's about to take a horrifying turn.
Now, Sabi and Ali, these guys were basically brothers, grew up together, super close, and their one shared passion was cricket. So one winter day, they've got to practice for a match, and they decide to find a quiet pitch where they can play without any interruptions.
I mean, their plan was so simple, so innocent, right? Just play some cricket. But this is exactly where things start to go sideways. Ali, being the stubborn one, insists on this one specific spot, a remote field about 20 kilometers outside the city, that just so happens to be right next to a Christian cemetery.
You can almost see how their day started to spiral. Their usual spot was way too crowded, so Ali was adamant about going to this other location. Sabi, trusting his best friend, he just went along with it. But he couldn't shake this growing feeling of unease. So after playing for about 3 hours, the moment that changes absolutely everything happens. Sabi bowls a fast one, Ali gets a great hit, and their expensive cricket ball goes sailing right over a low wall, landing deep inside the cemetery. Before they even go looking for the ball, they hear this bizarre roar, like a lion. But there's no zoo, no jungle, nothing. Sabi is terrified, but Ali just dismisses it. Then, at the cemetery gate, there's a sign. It explicitly says, "Entry is forbidden for non-Christians." Ali actually laughs it off and drives his motorcycle straight inside. They find their ball near this oddly well-kept grave from 1945, and suddenly they're confronted by a woman who just seems to appear out of nowhere. She is screaming at them, furious that they're defiling sacred ground. Sabi wants to get out of there immediately, but Ali, who has a bit of a short temper, starts arguing back before they finally leave. That one single act of defiance, that flat-out refusal to listen to any of the warnings, was about to set in motion a tragic and completely irreversible outcome for Ali. For a few days, everything seemed fine. Sabi was hoping that creepy feeling he had was just in his head, but almost exactly 1 week after that day at the cemetery, he gets the terrible news. Ali's been hospitalized. When Sabi gets to the hospital, the situation is dire. Ali's symptoms have the doctors totally baffled. He's bleeding from his mouth, suffering from this severe, unexplainable blood loss. And what's even worse, he keeps repeating over and over that a boy and a girl are attacking him. Despite blood transfusions, despite everything the medical staff tried, they just couldn't figure out where the blood was going. Ali's body simply gave out. He passed away, leaving his family absolutely devastated, and Sabi just shattered by guilt. At the funeral, Ali's mother said those words to Sabi, and he said that heartbreaking accusation pierced him like an arrow. It was a burden of guilt that he would have to carry for the rest of his life.
Okay, now we're going to shift continents for our second story. We're following a Pakistani student who's working late in Sweden. He finds himself in a situation that's just as terrifying, but with a very different ending.
So this student, he's new to Sweden. He's working overtime at a market trying to pay for his master's degree. He finishes his shift at 2 a.m., starts the long, cold walk home. But in these unfamiliar, silent streets, he takes a wrong turn.
You can almost track his journey into terror step by step. First, there's just the simple unease of being lost. Second, the temperature takes this sudden unnatural dive. Third, he hears a terrifying voice from nowhere. And fourth, well, the horrifying thing that he sees. He finds himself walking beside a low wall that ends at a huge, iron-barred gate. As this freezing wind just whips up, a clear male voice speaks to him. And it's not in Swedish, but in a language he understands. It says, "Come here, you'll be safe."
His instinct is to just keep walking, don't look back. But as he passes the gate, he can't resist a quick look inside. And what he saw was horrifying. 2 spectral women with this incredibly white skin. One was literally hanging from the gate, just swinging, while the other stood behind her, reaching through the bars.
So what's the connection here? a cricket match in Pakistan, and a cold night in Sweden. Let's break down the lesson these two terrifying encounters teach us, because it's not just about trespassing, it's about respecting places that hold a kind of deep cultural weight.
After running for his life, the student collapses at a gas station and is helped by some locals. A Swedish man explained that he was incredibly lucky. That cemetery? It's a notorious 19th century burial site for thousands of plague victims. It's a place that no one, and I mean no one, dares to go near at night.
When you put these two stories right next to each other, the parallels are pretty striking. Both have a forbidden cemetery, both have a supernatural warning, but the crucial difference, the thing that changes everything, is how each person reacted. One chose defiance, the other chose to flee.
And that, right there, is the heart of it all. Ali ignored every single warning, the physical ones, the supernatural ones. He argued, he trespassed, and he paid the ultimate price. The student in Sweden, on the other hand, even though he was terrified, chose to run the second he heard that voice and saw that sight. He obeyed his instinct for survival, and he lived.
And that brings us to a final, really provocative thought. These stories, whether you believe them literally or not, they really serve as a powerful metaphor. They make us think about the signs, the gut feelings, and the explicit warnings we all encounter in our own lives, and they force us to ask, what's the potential cost of defiance?